welcome back to the Septimus Armchair. I hope everybody had a good 2 weeks. I do apologize. I was not around these past 2 weeks as I had a birthday trip on Sunday to Las Vegas, and the week before that, I spent a lot of time getting myself ready, so I do want to apologize. I've also been trying to work on giving you a better intro and outro for these videos. Moving forward, I'm going to try to be more consistent. However, this week I am going to give you at least 1 or 2 videos, maybe even 3. I might try to see what I can do for you guys. But as always, these videos are not going to be edited because I want to give you a real and authentic feeling to what I'm talking about, and I don't want to edit it because I want to be giving you my truth. Today's video is about change. I don't know if you know or have ever felt this way, technically, but change is hard, and we've all been there, done that, not accepting of it, or have had to accept something that we don't want to. And for me, while change has been hard for me, my whole life has been nothing but changes and challenges. The biggest time I've had a change in my life that I could say I really wasn't excited for would probably be the death of my mother when I was about 12 or 13 years old. Her death caused a trajectory in my life that made it so that I ended up having to leave the only community that I knew my whole entire life. My friends, my family, even my foster family. I lost pretty much all contact with those people, and it was a big change in my life. I ended up going to an all-girls residential, which was a huge change in my life. It was a fear, so I would do everything in my power to stop it from actually happening. But, that change in my life actually made it so that I had a good trajectory happen in my adulthood. Because of that change that I had as a child, going into what is called Jermaine Lawrence, the all-girls residential, I in turn gained skills that I probably wouldn't have gained in my life if I had stayed in foster care or if my mother had stayed alive. That change made it so that I actually was eventually able to earn my bachelor's degree. I even earned I'm soon going to earn my master's degree in forensic psychology. So, essentially, change is one of those things where, even though it's hard at the time and we don't accept it or appreciate it, you never know what the trajectory down the road could become. For myself, I met somebody from Jermaine Lawrence who was a staff member, and he became a prominent person in my life. He's somebody that I always turn to when I need help. He's always helped me. He's actually recently helped me to be able to go on my birthday trip to Las Vegas so that I was able to go meet Joe Kenda, and it was a big step for me because, I moved to Denver, Colorado, which was another change in my life. I decided to take that step and make that change happen on my own. But the person who I met, his name is Andrew, he actually changed my life for the better. He made it so that I actually was able to leave what I call the hood because when I moved to Colorado with my ex, the change I decided to make, it was one of the last minute things I did. He ended up making it so that I had a place to stay when I ran out of money. But I was afraid to make the step and do the change to get to Denver from Boston. I still chose to do it because I wanted a better life. I wanted to stop sleeping on couches. I was homeless at the time. And I wanted to prove myself. I wanted to actually get my forensic psychology degree. And it was a trade that wasn't really offered, or a course that wasn't really offered in Boston, Massachusetts. It was a relatively new career back 8 years ago. It still is kind of new. It's only about 30 years old. And so I knew that it was offered at a school in Denver University. So I had to make the steps to take the chance to leave my home behind. I packed one bag on my back and kept my clothes, my laptop, and all my resources that I had was just it. It was all I had on. I was clothes on my back and the little bit of money I had in my account, up to $3,000. And I got on the bus. I took the chance with my ex, and I moved to Colorado. And because I did that, took the step, made those changes, my friends still remind me that I'm strong, and I'm stronger than them for actually just doing it and leaving my family behind in Boston. But sometimes change is good. Sometimes it's scary. Sometimes it's frightening. But it's a good thing because you never know what can happen. In the moment, it might feel like the world's ending. It might feel like you don't have no options, that you have to make this move, or that, it's being forced upon you. And while you may be able to take the steps to change what is going to happen, or you think that you can, there's the odds are you might not be able to change anything. You might just have to go with the flow. But sometimes you need to invoke that change instead of waiting for changes to happen, because sometimes when you're waiting for something to happen, it might not ever happen. It might not be what you want it to be, or, that can also go the same way if you did make a change. It might not go the way you wanted at the moment, but down the line, there's a high probability that it will be even better. The point is that we fear change. We always fear change. Everybody, every single one of us. We don't either like it, or we don't want it, or that some of us, a few of us might actually sit there and decide, hey, I do want these changes to happen. I'm going to make the change, and I'll take whatever outcome it is. Odds are the outcome will be good if you weigh the costs and the benefits. For me, I was homeless. I was sleeping on the couch in my cousin's house. I just lost my other place recently because of personal matters. I can talk about it down the line. But I didn't want to sleep on a couch anymore. I didn't want to feel like I couldn't have a place of my own. I didn't like having no privacy. So for me, the risk outweighed the benefits, outweighed the cost, The benefits outweighed the cost. I felt like taking this step, making this change, and just leaving my friends and family behind was better opportunity for me to actually get to where I wanted to go in life. It would have been most likely the best choice. And while I did miss my family and friends, and while at the beginning, things were going good, and around 2020 things got hard, not even because of COVID, just because me and my ex ended up having fights all the time. That to the point we got physical. It didn't matter what I did, he ended up fighting with me, I ended up fighting with him. I ended up losing custody of my dogs, his dog and my dog, because I bought him a dog. And, he ran out on his rent essentially, and he ended up moving back to Boston. I stayed in Colorado and had to get help paying half my rent from my pops, which is Andrew, the guy I met from Jermaine Lawrence. He did help me continue paying my rent, but the change that had to happen after all that was I had to really figure out what I was going to do with my pets. Because my ex ran out on his half of the rent, his dog, I couldn't keep my dog and his dog at the same time. So the change that had to be made was I had to decide what would be a better opportunity for these dogs, and who would have a better opportunity should I have to give them each up or, send them to shelter. One dog, my ex's dog, her name was Mishka. I decided that for her to have a better opportunity at life, because she's friendly and more outgoing, I gave her to a friend from school. And she actually grew into a huge, beautiful husky. They love her. They take care of her. I've seen photos of her. And while it's kind of sad and it's a change I didn't want to make, it was the best opportunity for her. Because my dog, Onyx, which is my dog, she's a black lab-ish mix. She got off Craigslist, so I don't know what they fully were. But I knew that I had to give her up when I went into the dorms, because when I finished my lease, there was nobody to help me pay the other half of the rent. And I was not in the best, well, it was not in the best times in life to be able to pay for my rent. Like $1,000 and some change is what it was. So at that time, the opportunities I had was to go moving to student housing. It was a change I was really willing to make because I wasn't willing to get rid of my dog. I loved her dearly. But I called my pops, and he helped me figure out a solution where he took in Onyx and he kept her, raised her for me a couple years, and then I was going to take her back, but she became actually a more open, fun dog. She actually is a dog. She acts more like a dog. She doesn't act like a human anymore. And she is more happy. She runs around. She plays with his kids. She actually has met horses now because they have horses, and she actually likes fucking with horses. Excuse my language. But it's a change that I have to deal with every day. It's something that still sticks with me, and it's something that still hurts me because, well, it's for her best outcome in life. It still hurts me, and it's a change I never wanted to make, and a change that I've actively wish I didn't have to make. I every day wish I could have my dog back. Every day I wish I could have her here with me in her home where she had toys and stuff. She was here for a bit, and then I got injured, and then I had to accept that the best way in life for her to live would be with my pops. So, is it something that I deal with every day that's hard? Yes. Is it something I wish it never happened? Yes. Is there something I could change about the outcome for that? Odds are probably not. Because if I could change it, I probably wouldn't. She actually is more happy there. She is able to be a dog, something that she struggled to be. She was always really shy. She kind of had a personality like me. High anxiety, shy, unable to really do much. We used to have to carry her, but just, we fear change, we hate it, and, you know, sometimes we want to embrace it and just go with the flow. Other times we try to go with the flow and try to accept the change, but it's harder to do. It gets easier as time goes on when you encounter change. Granted, it might still be hard for some stuff, or it might be good, and there is no bad outcome to it, but usually when we deal with change is one of those things where it's harder to have to accept and go with. And I'm here to say that while it might be hard, and we might not want to accept these things, and we might not want to go with the flow, things become easier once you do. The feelings behind the emotions, they become easier to accept. And, you know, you never know down the line with the trajectory, it could be the best outcome of your life. It could be the best thing that ever happened to you. Someone who was in foster care, lost their mother, and had a really hard teenage couple years, you know, lived in residential, all girls. That change was the thing that helped my life become to what it is. It helped me get to where I wanted to be. It helped me continue down the road towards success. It got me out of the hood, is what I say. It's because, well, being in Jermaine Lawrence, I lived in the suburbs. So I became more of a suburban type of girl. And then, you know, I still have that little hood survival instinct in me. But that changed to Jermaine Lawrence, even though I was stuck with girls for pretty much my whole teenage years, 6 years of my life. It was probably the best time of my life. I got to basically not really separate myself from the girls, but I got to separate myself from the life I was living, the hood, in the hood, you know, basically seeing memorials everywhere, on every corner, you know, people that you knew got murdered. It's just was a change that if I didn't go to Jermaine Lawrence, I probably either wouldn't be alive today, or I probably would have basically, you know, probably been doing some stuff I don't need to be doing. And, well, I did do some stuff as an adult, because I didn't get to experience stuff as a teenager. You know, you teenagers, you experiment and learn more. As an adult, I got to experiment and do some things that caused me to go down a different trajectory. But I did change my life back around actually recently, and got on a whole sobriety kick, got myself better, and continued to grow and do better. But that's the story for another time. I just want y'all to know that don't fear change. And if you do fear it, learn to fight through it, deal with it, accept it, and then go through the motions. Because honestly, if you go with the flow, and you learn to go with the flow when change occurs, the feelings behind change become easier, life becomes smoother, the world becomes a better place in time. And I want to thank you guys for listening to this. I appreciate anybody who's tuned into the second video. I am grateful for those who understood. I do want to apologize that I was behind on this video, and I do apologize that I did not upload last week or the week prior before my birthday. Like I said, I will be trying to be more consistent. I am working on intros and outros for these videos. I am working on trying to make the channel a better place so that it is some place you would love to be. Love to hear the stories, love to hear my thoughts, what's on my mind. That is the video today. I do apologize. Today's video was what is on your mind, because what's on my mind is definitely what's on your mind. But I will have to edit that part in. I might edit this ending. I know I said I don't edit, but we might edit this ending. However, we'll see. It might just leave it in for the authenticity. But I hope everybody had a wonderful week, wonderful Memorial Day. I hope everybody stayed safe. And I look forward to sharing my thoughts with you guys again. And stay safe. Remember you're loved. Remember you're blessed. Remember you're protected. Have a good evening. Signing off. September.